Hello everybody, welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the latest episode of Vanderpump Rules, Season 10, Episode 7. But before we do, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you won't miss any further videos. But let's get right into it, guys, because Vanderpump Rules is coming in hot. This might be the best season ever. So the episode begins where we left off last week, where Raquel and Charli crashed Schwartz guys' night because they left Katie and Lala's trip. The guys and everybody else there is confused why they are there, so Raquel goes on to explain what happened and how she's mad at Lala, and she kind of is acting like the victim, I guess, and everybody there is sort of loving it because that group doesn't really like Lala and Katie at the moment, and they're really happy that Raquel stood up to Lala, which I low-key do too. The only one not being so happy to see them is James. He feels a little guilty because he thought it was going to be only guys. But now there's girls here, so he told his girlfriend it was only going to be guys, so he leaves. But they're all having so much fun, I don't think anyone really cared. Back in Arizona, the three girls are returning from the club. One of the guys that Lala was flirting with at the club is going to come over. The guy comes over, he sits with them for a while, and it's very awkward because they all knew why he was there and what the purpose was. So they were like having some like small talk, but pretty soon they get into business, if you get what I'm saying. And then in the morning, Lala goes over and brags about the amazing experience that she had with the guy. You know how these people are, they're very open about these types of things. In the next scene, James and Allie are going to like a reading because she likes astrology and she wants to become an astrologer. So they're with like this guy who's doing these things with the cards and all that and tells them things about the relationship and all that stuff. But moving along, the Queen LVP makes her entrance to the Pump restaurant to meet with Dumb and Dumber, also known as Schwartz, and Sandoval. She wants to talk business because she did give them an offer before, but they don't want to be bought out. So they're going to be sticking with Greg, and they're going to have to figure out how to get the big dollar amount of 50 more. They are so far behind, and they have to open up soon. Time is money, LVP keeps telling them. So Sandoval says, you know what? He is setting it now, and they're going to stick by it. He says they will open on the 31st, no excuse whatsoever, and he's firm on that. So Lisa's like, yes, that's great, like tweet it, like make sure that you commit to it. Then there's a scene with Scheana and her fiance Brock. They are at home and she's very excited for the wedding, but that takes a lot of work, figuring out where people will stay at the resort because this is a destination wedding. So Brock tells her that she needs to clarify with Katie if she's going to go or not, because when it's a destination wedding, things like these, you need to know everything, like as far as numbers of the people and all that. So speaking of Katie, she pays a visit to Ariana. Ariana is planning a pool party. She lets her know about that. But they have something big to worry about, which is their sandwich shop. So they meet up with a businesswoman who can help them in this process. The biggest thing that they needed to figure out was finding a location. Lisa had offered a place that was close to SUR, and it's actually great. And it looks like they're going to keep it. So it looks like they have their place. Then they meet up later with Lisa and tell them about the process, and Lisa is just very proud. And then she asks Katie if she's going to Scheana's wedding, and she says no. It's then the day of the pool party. Everyone is there. Lala has a chat with Scheana about the wedding, and Scheana says that, you know what, unlike her other wedding, she doesn't want mean girls like Stassi and Kristina Kelly, who were there last time, to be here. She doesn't want bad energy, so she doesn't want Katie there. And then somehow they start talking about Raquel, and Lala expresses how mad she is that Raquel called her a mistress. Obviously this is something that Scheana knows about, and they even showed a flashback with Brandy and all that mess. So Lala's like bashing Raquel, but Scheana's really defending her and saying, no, she's not weak, she's not all these things that you're saying that she is. James is upset at Scheana also because Allie wasn't invited to the wedding. But I mean, he barely knows her, let alone Scheana. And he also feels like the friend group is sort of icing him out, and he's actually growing a lot of resentment towards Raquel, and you can tell because at this point he doesn't even feel comfortable being in the same room as her. So then James, goes over to Lala and says, hey, at the guys' night, Raquel was boasting about how she stood up to you, kind of adding fuel to the fire. But Lala is acting all tough and mighty, says that she doesn't care, and whatever. But what's really sad? Ariana was actually defending Raquel. And, just given what we know now, it's just, wow, that's really sad. But Lala and Katie are bad-mouthing Raquel. And Katie says something like she needs to get her head fixed. And when I tell you guys the way that Sandoval jumped in to protect Raquel, and he told Katie that she was being mean, that it's always her way. Wow, it all makes sense now that we know it, but it just having that perspective makes it just seem so much bigger than what it is. So then Raquel eventually comes over, and before you know it, her and Lala are in a battle of words. And it gets to the point that Raquel is really standing up for herself and calls Lala out for everything she's worth and drags her. She calls her miserable, pathetic, bully, a mistress. And if we forget about the situation that's currently happening with Sandoval, let's put that aside for a moment. I am glad that Raquel spoke up for herself, because it kind of seems like Lala wanted Raquel to pretend like she didn't sleep with James while they were together. That blows my mind. But, it gets really bad and they eventually separate. Then Scheana finally addresses Katie and says, you're not invited to the wedding, you're not coming, so you need to give your room back from the resort. Katie says no, that it's been paid for and that she's going to Mexico with her best friend as a vacation. So that, along with the very sassy tone that Katie has at the moment, really makes Scheana mad. She gets up, she storms out into the backyard and tells Schwartz, you need to go and control your ex-wife because she's acting a mess. And Schwartz is like, well, what's happening? And, we're kind of at this point, during this season of the show, we're kind of seeing how the group was kind of separating, how it was Katie, Lala, James, Kristina, kind of against everybody else. So he goes and says, well, he's trying to find a compromise, trying to tell Katie to calm down. So that makes Katie very upset, and she gets up and leaves the party, because this is reminding her of one of the issues that she had with him during the marriage, that he would never defend her, that he would always blame her, and he's doing it again right now. And then that was the end of the episode. And then we got the mid-season trailer. I think it's a little bit too soon for a mid-season trailer, because we're only in episode 7, unless we are getting a shorter season, like maybe 15 episodes. But regardless, when I tell you guys that mid-season trailer was everything, it's one of those trailers that you need to rewatch it 2 times, because that's how good it is. They even show some footage of that scene that Sandoval and Ariana shot after the affair was confirmed, and wow. And the reunion is set to film tomorrow, allegedly, so this is going to get very, very good. And then after the show was over, Jax and Brittany were on the Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, so that was also very interesting. But as far as this episode, what were y'all's opinion about this? What did you think about Raquel standing up to Lala? What did you think about Sandoval standing up for Raquel and defending her? And just your overall thoughts. I know it's a little bit difficult for us to kind of have thoughts about the episode itself, because we're thinking about what's going on right now, and that's kind of tainting our vision. But all your thoughts, let me know. I look forward to reading them, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. You'll have a great one. Bye.